Good morning, everyone. How are you doing? This is Amanda. Today is the 24th of November. It's good to be back. It's good to be sitting in front of a camera again, actually. I haven't recorded any videos for over 5 weeks now. So, yeah, it feels a little bit strange, but also very welcome. And absolutely, I've missed you guys. So we're going to have a bit of a catch up in this video. I'm going to be telling you a little bit about what's been going on behind the scenes. And then also I would like to pull some cards with regards to where we are at right now. Some guidance from Spirit, of course. And Metatron is also asking me just to get us prepared for what he's calling the shift of gear that is occurring, and some of us are feeling right now, from the year of the wood snake, which we're in now, which is a number 9 year of completions and endings, to next year, which is going to be a numerological number 1 year of new beginnings. And we've got the fire horse energy from mid-February. So the shift from wood snake to fire horse feels almost a bit like, the analogy he's giving me is going from first gear to fifth gear, which would be quite crunchy unless you knew what you were doing. So that's sort of what we're going to be getting at, also weaving in, of course, I'm sure some colour energies and hopefully a few laughs as well. I know it's a heavy time out there for everybody. But yeah, just back very briefly to being unwell, because I know a lot of people are feeling unwell at this time or have got one of the bugs that is going around. And I'd just like to remind you that particularly towards the end of a number 9 year and a wood snake year, there is always going to be a final purging and a final clearing. Think about snakes. They have to shed their skins at the end of the day for the new skin to be revealed. And number 9, as I say, is about endings and completions. There's a lot of talk at the moment about all of the downloads and light codes that are coming in. And this is all well and good, but unless you have created a space energetically within yourself and also within your heart and your mind, you're going to find it very hard, because it's almost as though it's going to be full of old clutter. So however it's occurring at the moment, there is this purging that is also very essential. It's like a final letting go, a final purge. And viruses are one way that this absolutely can accelerate that, and is actually a help rather than a hindrance. I know it feels like a hindrance at the time, but actually there is a benefit for it. So yeah, I mean, for me, it was interesting being unwell abroad as well. We got there, and then within 48 hours, as I say, I was unwell, and I was out for the whole of the holiday. And although, yeah, there's disappointment, there also is then an acceptance that has to come into the equation. And with acceptance, there is a letting go. And when you let go, that's when the regeneration and the recalibration can actually happen. So I did actually split a deck that I'm going to use today off camera, and it's really quite interesting because I got the Four of Swords, which is not surprising because the Four of Swords is this card of rest. The person lying in that bed looks almost, are they alive? Are they dead? No, they're just resting. They're recuperating. They are recalibrating. But what intrigues me about this card is actually from the Knights Templar Tarot, is that on their forehead is the sign of the cross in red. And it reminds me of the Red Cross that was marked on doors, for example, just before the birth of Jesus, where, of course, Herod decreed that all of the firstborn boys should be killed. And what I'm alluding to here is that at that time, of course, that was a wave of darkness that came across the land. But those who had marked the door with a red cross were saved effectively. The darkness could not touch them. So there's something here about whatever you're going through, that you are protected by the sign of the cross. If that's too religious for you, traditional religious speak, then use another symbol. But effectively, that's what I saw when I saw that card. One of the things that I've been doing to recuperate is I love watching old films. You know, when I can't work, I like to watch old films, and I sat down with my daughter a week or so ago, and we sat through all 4 hours of the Ten Commandments with Charlton Heston and Yul Brynner. Yul Brynner was my grandfather's, I think, favourite ever actor. I always loved Yul Brynner. But anyway, he plays the Pharaoh, Charlton Heston plays Moses. But there is that very powerful scene in it, of course, where again, you know, the firstborn sons are going to be killed, and it shows this wave of darkness coming into the cities and the towns, unless, of course, the sign of the cross has been marked upon the door. So definitely, we are in times right now of collective darkness. I have said for years that it is imperative that you get out of the way of what Metatron is calling the splatter. It's a very provocative word, but that is the word that I'm hearing, the splatter, because it's not going to serve you. I did write a piece of channeled writing that was on my community post that many of you saw and is still up there if you want to go and have a look, with regards to navigating what I call the Epstein wave, and it was written for that particular wave that is about to hit, but you could put it with regards to other things as well. And it's this thing about just standing in sovereignty, staying in your heart, whilst around you the whole world is looking like it's in chaos, and may very well be in chaos. So I thought that card was interesting, the Four of Swords. Also, the same deck, I just split it, and I saw that this card, the Chariot, looks like this. So this is the Knights Templar tarot card, tarot deck, and you'll see that I think this is a card that I'll have to come back to next year, because we've got a fiery horse there. Okay, so that's what's coming, you know, for us individually, to get back onto our horse and to charge ahead. And it's interesting that the person riding this horse almost looks like it's got the head of a cockerel, and it reminds me again of, well, I'm being taken back to a few things. I mean, the cockerel, of course, is the thing that wakes you up in the morning if you're living in the countryside, the first dawn, charging ahead, but also the cockerel that crowed 3 times and Peter denied the light, or denied Jesus. And it's as though once we've gone through initiation, rite of passage, where we may have had to face our darkness, and our shadow, and also maybe struggling with lack of faith, which is what Peter showed, we then come back to it all the more strongly. So there's definitely this re-emergence of faith, and faith I'm using in the very broadest sense here through 2026. But right now, we're still in the endings of this very powerful number 9 year. I kid you not, again, off camera, I can't prove that this happened, but I'm beyond having to prove myself anymore. I don't need to do that, you know. Do occasionally get people coming onto my channel saying, we didn't see you pull the cards, you know, as though I'm some sort of fraudster trying to manipulate things behind the scenes. I'm so over all of that nonsense, you know. Those of you that know me. Those of you that don't and doubt me, you can doubt me. That's your call. But anyway, this card, okay, I said, give me a card for the year of the wood snake. And it's fascinating. It's the High Priestess. But look at this. Look at this. Can you see that? I hope you can see it on my camera. It shows a snake at her foot. Yeah, because sorry to well, it's not deviating. Again, going back to the film, the Ten Commandments. Oh, no, not the Ten Commandments. After the Ten Commandments, we sat down and watched Cleopatra. Now, I didn't enjoy that one quite as much, has to be said. But it's got Elizabeth Burton and Elizabeth Taylor. Well, she was Burton as well. Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton. Elizabeth Taylor is Cleopatra. It's a very sort of gothic love story, really. And at the end, Cleopatra is said to have died by allowing herself to be bitten by an adder, bitten by a snake. In the film, you see her putting her hand into this pot and just allowing the snake to bite her. And then, of course, the poison enters her body and she's dead, game over, out. But in this card, we have the High Priestess, who is a little wiser, you know. This is us. It's not our time to go. We're meant to be staying. It's a very powerful card. Can you see the Holy Spirit and the Dove of Peace that's coming in the door? Not to take you or I away to a far-off land or the other side of the veil, but to give us strength to continue. But the snake is at her foot. The snake is at her foot, but she's able to sort of tiptoe around it, really. I definitely feel as though has been this last quarter of the year the energy of temptation, and that comes with a crisis of faith or doubting the path. I'm talking this way again because some of you know, and I'm going to do some work with Steve Judd on this in the new year, but I'm about to emerge from 3.5 to 4 years of Pluto transits in my chart. And Pluto takes you to the depths, to the absolute depths, and the need for an inward journey of introspection, reflection, looking at shadow in the collective, but also within yourself. And it feels as though that final part of it is an energy it's effectively devil energy that comes in, that tries to get you off your path, thwart your path, show you something else that you could be doing. And for me, it transpired via a dream that I had, dream stroke vision. Mentioned this the other day on Facebook and Instagram. Not that I'm really back on there at the moment, but it was one video I made, and I will just document it here as well. So what happened was this ending of Pluto for me. It's been opposite my ascendant, and I think that closes out around the first week of December. I've had it opposite my sun. That ended a while ago, actually. But Pluto also finishes squaring my north node for the final time in my life around about the 27th, 28th of December. So I've had all this very strong Plutonic, void-like energy. And it's been like swimming around in a nothingness. This last chapter of it has been really very intense. And I went to bed a week or so ago, and I said to Metatron, you know, I can't feel anything. I'm not seeing anything. I'm not getting the downloads. It's the depths of Pluto. It's the depths of the void. It's the bottom of the pit, you know, before you rise back up again. And I said to him, just give me something, you know, just give me a sign, give me anything. And what actually happened was a very Plutonic thing. I dreamt of this priest who visited me, and he was of the traditional church, let's just put it that way, but it had a dark energy to it. It was a dark archetypal priest energy, and he was whispering in my ear, offering me another way. And the other way for me was a return to stuff that I've already done and completed, which was my journey in traditional religion. Not dissing that, this is my path, okay? And it felt easier to go back to that, you know? And I was also shown my third eye and the gift of an opened third eye, or a more opened third eye. But this third eye was clouded, you know, and I thought, well, that's not a gift at all. I don't want to go back. I want to go forward. And I sort of said to him, I don't accept your gift, which wasn't a gift. And then I woke up And I said to Metatron, what the hell was that about? And I realised actually he was just showing me the darkness, because Metatron is about the darkness and the light. You, in mastery, in self-mastery, in initiation, you have to be able to master both. You can't just float around, you know, in the light. That's too easy. You have to face the darkness. So anyway, back to this card. That's what it reminds me of, this High Priestess, which is, hopefully it's you and I with the adder at our feet, and we're not going to allow it to bite us and take us out of the game. We're meant to get back into the game, but in a bigger way, in a different way, in a transformed way. And indeed, the game might be a different game, or it might look completely different. We're not meant to know yet. So, you know, hopefully some of that has resonated. If it hasn't, never mind. Actually, I'm just realising I've split the deck again. I hadn't seen this. The Ace of Swords in this deck has got the snake wrapped around it. Look at that. So the Ace of Swords, the cards of clarity and truth and illumination. You could almost also bring in an Arthurian energy, you know, to this. There is a horrible snake wrapped around that does not want you to pick it up, that does not want you to get back on your on the horse, as it were. And somehow you've got to be brave enough to pick that up, knowing it's not going to bite you. Okay. And how would you do that? You do that by going into the deepest level of trust. The deepest level of trust, but also an alignment to whatever energy is coming at you. So with regards to that snake, there is an energy of, if the snake knows that you mean it no harm, it won't harm you. You and the animal kingdom are one. Maybe also there is something to do with this last part of the wood snake year. Remember, this goes up until next February, so we have got time to grapple with this. We need, at a collective level, to be helping to rid this energy where the snake is marginalised, talked bad of. You know, everyone is like, ooh, it's a snake, not understanding the power. Because the thing, going back to Cleopatra, she let the snake bite her. So who was actually in charge of that situation? Cleopatra was, if the story is true, you know. The snake didn't bite her. She allowed the snake to bite her. Can you feel the difference in the nuance? Anyway, I'm just going to pull one more card on that because it interests me. So we've got the High Priestess with the snake at her foot. You see, I'm now picking up the energy of the snake in the Garden of Eden. And we need to clear that. We need to clear the energy of that, you know, the snake bites. And so I'm a bit rusty, guys. The snake bites, and, you know, we are cast out of the Garden of Eden because we've been tempted, we've tasted the fruit. That story, on the bottom of the deck, we've got the Hanged Man. That story, we need to have another think about that. It's a story that we have. Oh, wow. Look at the next card that comes out. Well, it's not apples, but it's oranges. Look at that. We've got the Knight, and he's picked a beautiful, what is that? Lemon or orange from the tree. And he looks quite pleased with his bounty there. Is he thinking that if I take a bite from this, that it's game over? There's something here about letting go of this energy of a vengeful God. Also letting go at the end of a 9-year of the fact that we have to be punished. And it all seems to stem back to that Garden of Eden energy. That we, and I have said this before in previous videos over the years, that we are allowed back into Eden now. And there's nothing there that's going to be harming us. There's nothing there that's poisoned. But it's a question of, do we feel worthy and healed enough to be able to go back in? Because there are gardens of recuperation and healing, yes. But this place that I'm talking about is a place of peace. And so to be able to walk through its doorway, we have to be holding that. So, yeah, powerful energies, the Hanged Man coming in with this 9 of Pentacles. I've also got the 4 of Wands there as well. And the Ace of Cups. Oh my gosh, what a beautiful deck this is. You see, I've used this deck before and some of the cards are a bit dark, but look at this Ace of Cups. That's the prize. The lamb. The lamb represents us, purified, in a more innocent state, in a healed state, laying down in front of the cup. And there's that flag, which is just feeling like it's victorious. And it's not just a cup, it's not just a chalice, it's not just the Holy Grail. This particular chalice or cup has got a fountain spurting out of it. It's got a fountain. It's joyous. There's nothing in that garden that is threatening. Okay? So if you look at that scene of peace and beauty and just love, would you walk into it with dirty feet or with dirty mind or with malice or judgment or division in your heart? Well, if you do, it contaminates the energy. So, because this is the prize, and this is why this purging at the moment, however it's transpiring in your life, whatever endings are occurring, whatever challenges are being presented, they're there to actually help you get to this place of humbleness and into a more purified energy. I read something on someone else's channel the other day. I don't want to really get into politics here because it's such a can of worms, and I know it's the hardest place for people to bring that energy of love into. But someone was talking about one of the leading politicians in our world, let's just put it like that, and they were saying, oh, you know, the last however many years have been absolutely horrendous. They may well have been. And, you know, can't wait for it to be over. Well, that's fine. You may well think that. But it was almost as though they were talking about what has happened as separate to them, as not understanding, even as it might be about to close out, that whatever is occurring in the collective is a representation of some unhealed wounding in us. You know, if we want the leaders of peace and love and tolerance and non-judgment and unity, are we holding that? Because until we do, the leaders are not going to appear. They're just not. Because the leaders represent us. And then I got to thinking about old souls versus young souls and tried to get into this place of compassion for those that still aren't getting it. That whatever is occurring in our world right now, I think if you're an older soul, you've seen it before, maybe in this lifetime or certainly in other lifetimes, but there is a detachment that takes place, not because you don't care, but because you know that the only way anything is ever going to change is if you work on your own individual vibration that then gets put back into that collective pot that helps reduce it from boiling point down to simmering point, down to hopefully a cooler energy altogether. Anyway, that's what that deck revealed. Fascinating. remind me to use this deck. I need to use this deck when I do my 2026 predictions and I talk about the year of the fire horse, because, I mean, come on, I can't think of a better card than that for us for next year. And I can't think of better cards than this as we close out the year of the wood snake. And remember, this is until mid-February. I think it's about February the 17th. Make peace with this snake-like energy within ourselves, within others. And peace isn't about just lying down and taking it. It's about understanding that if somebody is behaving in a poisonous way, where's that coming from? It's coming from their wounding. It's coming from maybe their upbringing. It's coming from stuff that's happened. We have to get to a place of greater understanding. The other thing with the closing out the year of the wood snake, of course, is Kundalini. There's a lot of Kundalini arising at the moment, and there's a lot of people not understanding what that's all about, how to work with that energy. I can tell you that next year you will be helped by the fire horse. Maybe that's some work we'll do together. Okay, I'll do that in a separate video. Okay, I'm going to pull just from another 2 decks and then I'll close this video down, but I'll probably be able to go on for another 20 minutes or so. So grab a drink if you want to. Let's put these cards back in the deck. And I've shuffled and I've still got the Ace of Cups on the bottom of the deck, the beautiful Lamb and the Fountain of Life. Okay, I'm quite intrigued just to pull a card from my own Metatron deck at this point, just to see what's coming up. Let's see what Metatron gives us. Kundalini, untapped energy. Okay, so it's just confirming everything that I've just said. We've also got the energy of clarity, go within. And we've got the energy of letting go. And I'm also going to take this one from the bottom of the deck, which is the crimson red energy, base chakra. There's a lot of emphasis on base chakra. You know, back to viruses being unwell. What is that all about? It's base chakra. It's It's a base chakra purge. Now, one of the things I did before I went away is I put that video up about New Earth, and it was coinciding with the fact we bought through this new spray, which was to do with New Earth, and many of you have bought it. Thank you very much for all of your support. The spray is called New Earth, Gaia Ascends, the Golden Age, yeah? Now, I want to put that spray with this one, which is the crimson base chakra. Because let's put it this way, if we have a wave of new earth energy coming in, what it's doing is it's slamming into your base chakra. So your base chakra has either put up its walls of defense and protection and fortification, and like, no way, this feels alien, this feels different, or worse, I like it, I want a bit of that, but then you're asked to change your behavior and your ways, because as I said, we can't bring our old 3D nonsense into New Earth. It's the same message I just channeled with regard to the beautiful garden with the lamb and the water. You can't bring your contamination and your dirty feet into it. We have to be purified. So there is this purification going on of our base chakra, which is why we're having to look at money, we're having to look at relationships, we're having to look at our health, we're having to look at our home. My home is in quite a good state, but we've had terrible storms recently. And I came down yesterday. Yeah, we've got a leak. We've got a leak that's come in. The leading's gone somewhere on the balcony. And so we've got nice big stains all in our hallway. It will all need redecorating. There's another leak in one of my daughter's bedrooms when we came back. That's all going to have to be replastered. It's classic. Your home is a manifestation of you. So your home needs attention too, okay? Your physical body needs attention too. It's one of the reasons why I'm determined to not race back and sort of just be bunging out video after video after video. It's not sustainable in the long run. Anyone that's doing that, please hear me out. You know, I've been there, worn the t-shirt. It's not sustainable. It's much better just to bring quality content out from time to time and for people to digest it and really reflect on it. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, think about that. This new earth energy wanting to come in, but it is slamming up against your base chakra. Ideally, your base chakra welcomes it. And ideally, there is space within the base chakra because you've cleared out some of the old programming, some of the old gunk, some of the old wounding. And how do you do that? It's via our actions and our behavior. Have you been able to tend to some of these very difficult wounds? You know, family stuff, relationship stuff, how we behave. And my God, I know it's not easy a lot of the time. But put it this way, some of the people in my life that triggered me the most personally, who I see and who I love, who are family members, I make a conscious effort now that before I see them, I really go into myself and I ask for the best version of myself to show up. It doesn't always work, but I'm attempting to do that. Yeah. And God loves a trier, as they say. You know, you've got to try. It's too easy just to stay in the old pattern of they've done this, they've done that. They may very well have done, but freedom, and the horse represents freedom, of course, is asking somehow for you to try to pave a new way. And it starts with our thoughts and deeds. Okay, so that's Metatron. I got two other decks that I wanted to use. This one I've not shown you before. It's by a lovely lady called Donna Byatt, who runs a shop in Avebury. If you ever visit Avebury Stone Circles, her shop is called Elements, and she stocks my sprays, bless her. So very grateful to people that support our work. And she's made a deck called the Avebury Light Codes. The Avebury Light Codes. So I thought I would pull a card from here, and this is literally guidance from the stones, or a light code that's coming up from the stones. I must admit I'm feeling a real pull to go to Glastonbury actually, and the stones. So I will be doing that hopefully over the next few weeks. And you might be feeling a pull to particular sacred sites. Right. Which one wants to come through? For the people watching, thank you. We've got card number 1. So this ties into next year's energy. I'll show you the card in a moment. It says the sun, Ra. It says from a shielded place of eternal safety you grow. Beautiful. So obviously we've got a lot of fire energy right now. We've got a lot of focus on our sun and what our sun is doing. Solar flare after solar flare after solar flare. But the sun shines on. And yeah, Ra, Egyptian god, from a shielded place of eternal safety you grow. That's nice. It ties into that card I had earlier with the Knights Templar, of the Four of Swords, the person lying in the bed with the cross on their forehead. But it was to do with that person being protected. If you're being taken out of the equation right now, for whatever reason, you're being taken offline, it doesn't have to just be an online thing. It can be manifesting in all sorts of different ways. Maybe it's just a quiet period, for example, in your business, or something's gone quiet in regard to a relationship. There's something about you're being protected. You're being shielded. Yeah, that word shielded. From a place of eternal safety you grow. Because this is the thing, the sun will always rise again in the morning, you know. The sun's always going to be there in the morning. The cycles of nature. Really growing into and aligning to the cycles of nature right now. It's one of the aspects that I'm really feeling with regards to the upgrade that I'm going through. And it's being helped, of course, by what's out the door. I mean, it is so dark here. That's why I've had the light streaming in earlier on in this video, because I think it was 3 o'clock the other day. It was dark outside the windows. It was dark. Solstice, winter solstice, the shortest day. Still got a few weeks before we get there, but I'm really feeling a deep honouring that's needed there. But it's between you and the night, or it's between you and the day if you're in the other side of the world, the other hemisphere, and it's summer solstice for you. Just an honouring of your place, an honouring of your place in the world, an honouring of your relationship with nature, with the cycles, and with yourself, an honouring of the body, an honouring of your relationships with others. Okay, I'm going to now take some cards from the Crow Oracle. But I am just noticing that on the bottom of the deck, we've got the card of release. Metatron, letting go. Let go, release. Okay, interesting. Next to the card of release. Oh, very interesting. We have the card of isolation, and then we have the card of influence, and then we have the card of direction. I'll show you the cards in a moment. Yeah, I've really been feeling this. I think probably many of you have. That this final purge, this final letting go of this round, I mean, let's be honest, that life is a constant journey of letting go from cradle to grave. But I'm talking about the ending of this wood snake year in particular. There's something about needs to be done in isolation, away from the influence of others. All the squawking voices at the moment, and I am saying the squawking voices, it's almost like I just don't want to hear it. Thank you if you're choosing to listen to me, because I respect that. I respect that I'm not for everybody. I respect that not everybody wants to listen, and that's absolutely fine. It's also absolutely fine if you don't want to listen now, but you might want to listen in 6 months. Hopefully this is pretty timeless stuff that I'm saying. But the need to isolate a little bit. And then you get the direction. You get the new direction. This bird right now here doesn't quite know what it's doing. It doesn't quite know where it wants to go. It's in a static phase before the new flight comes in next year. But you have to honour this phase just as much as you have to honour the new beginning. It's as though we live in a whole world where everybody wants the new beginning. Everybody wants the upgrade now without doing the work, okay? Without going down into the bowels of the earth and the depths of the void. I feel like I've been right down there. And some of it's not pretty. And some of it absolutely makes you feel as though you just lose faith in humanity. But you're given the strength to rise back up. But you have to go there. And I think there's just so much distraction in our world right now, isn't there? You know, it's not all our fault. There's so much distraction. There are so many agendas. There's so many things being done to us. But you have to remember that you're not a victim. That you're sovereign. But you have to honour all seasons. Four cards. Let's have a fifth to end on. How am I doing for time, guys? I've only been talking for 38 minutes, but that's fine. I'm going to let this be a little bit of a shorter video. Okay. Fifth and final card. Mischief. The cards are sort of repeating themselves here because it's a similar message to what came out with the Knights Templar. For mischief, we could say temptation. Now, This is like being baited. Look at this cat, it's being baited. It's being baited. There's something in the news today about, I still call it Twitter, but X. And I've always said that Elon Musk is dualistic. He's got both light and dark within him, as we all have. And until we get to that point, we're still in infant school, to be perfectly honest. Sorry if I'm triggering people, but it's the truth. You know, we have to get to that point where we understand that people are both. But one thing which is good that he's doing at the moment, I assume it's his command to do it because he owns the platform, is they have this new feature where you can see where an account comes from. And it's been proven over the last few days that some of these really big accounts with like millions of followers who've been influencing, where is that card of influence? Influencing people. It's particularly linked into maybe far-right politics in America. I don't want to get into it all, okay? But let's just say far-right politics in America. And you assume that the people writing them are at least American. The accounts are based in Nigeria or Bangladesh. They're not what they appear to be. Now, let's not get into a straight, oh, yeah, well, it would be because it's that side of the diseased bird we're talking about politically. What's going to be revealed is that lots of the agendas that are being pushed right now by a lot of these big accounts, they're not who you think they are. They're not who you think they are. And what has the purpose of them been? It's been to bait us, to prod us, to poke us. We know what your weak spot is. We know the thing that's going to trigger you. You could also say maybe some of these big accounts linked into pandemic and COVID. I'm not on, well, I think I am on Threads actually, but I think I'm only on Threads because maybe you have to be on Threads if you're in Instagram. I think I've posted about 3 things on there. I think I have actually got some followers. I don't know why, because I never post. But anyway, the point is, Threads is, I think, an offshoot of Instagram. Is that right? But sometimes it keeps coming up in my feed, you know, and I'm seeing a lot of these threads from people I don't even know who they are. And they're baiting the whole time. Sorry, they're baiting, you know, about stuff that happened in 2020. We all have our opinion on what happened then, and whatever we did, we did. We don't need to keep picking it apart. For what purpose? The piece of writing that I wrote about Epstein, the Epstein wave, as I say, it's pinned. It's the first post you will see if you go to my community tab on YouTube. It was really just trying to say the wave that's coming, there's going to be people in it. Everyone is going to be disappointed in somebody, basically. And the worst thing you can do is either try and deny that it's coming or just point out the people that you don't like, ignoring the people that you do like that are also mentioned, you know? But it's as though that's where a lot of people still are. But we need to get past that. We really need to get past that. Let's end with a crystal. The crystal that has been sitting here beside me is blue obsidian. It is a little galactic crystal, a little star being head. But I'm just looking up the properties of blue obsidian. Obviously it's linked into communication and calmness. It's also to do with protection, transformation, spiritual insight, exploration. It's linked to the third eye and the throat. And for whatever reason, I feel as though it's important. It says here it's also to do with deep listening. Yeah, I think if we can, I've got the card of communication here. If we can get to a place next year of committing to deeper listening with each other, deeper listening in our closest relationships, deeper listening with regards to our body and what our body is trying to say to us. I've been thinking myself about, why didn't you recognise that you were as run down as you were? Because if you weren't as run down as you were, you wouldn't have come down with it. But, don't judge yourself, because I sort of knew I was run down. It's like, well, which bits could I have not done? Maybe some, but what could I have done to have helped myself? So you learn from it, don't you? You learn from it. Okay, we're going to end with a spray, and I'd like to combine the crimson with the new earth. So first off, I'm going to start with crimson, base chakra. And again, there's something coming in about making peace with the energy of red. All colours are dualistic. All colours have a challenging aspect to it. And the challenging aspects of red are linked into things such as hate, aggression, lust, war, etc., greed. But the positive sides of red, drive, Kundalini, motivation, bloodline, ancestors. More and more we are going to be aligning to those in the year of the fire horse. But red is also the colour of our body. It's the blood that's running through all of our veins. It's life force. It's about appreciation and gratitude for the life that we have, the life that we have left, the energy that we have, conserving that as much as we can, respecting that, listening to that, loving that. And then the energy of new earth, Gaia ascending, the golden age. That our body comes with us into that. Metatron is saying there is some delusion out there linked into, he's saying delusion isn't quite the right word, disconnection would be better. That this whole concept of new earth is very mind-based in some. It's as though people have got their heads around maybe what it could look like, feel like. They have expectations upon it. They're demanding when it comes. It has to be in my lifetime. It has to be now. It has to be this year. It's all very ego. It's very mental. The body has to get it. The body has to understand that the shift of the ages is not going to harm, it's going to help. That it's needed, but it requires us to leave behind our childish ways, as I've said before. To tend to our open wounds, to tend to our bodies, to not ignore our bodies. One thing that illness does is your body gets your attention. Why should your body only get attention when it's ill? Really think about that. So what one thing can you do today for your body? Saying no to things that you know are not helping it to heal, to balance, to settle, and saying yes to things that will help it to feel at peace, feel whole, feel loved, feel taken care of. Your body is given to you as something to be taken care of. yet we condemn it, we run from it, we see it as other. The spiritual path is an honouring of all aspects of who you are, body, mind and soul. The body demands attention. Let the chatter of the monkey mind pause. Let your body speak. Let your body speak. New Earth demands complete transparency, complete honesty. It is time. Someone started jet washing their car outside. Perfect. We need a jet wash. The car, actually. Yeah, I mean, my car needs a wash. Could he do mine? No, but the point is I need to wash my car. The car is an extension of ourselves. Is your car filled with old burger wrappers and, you know, sweet wrappers? No, mine isn't, actually. I'm not talking about myself here. But mine still needs a clean. You know? My husband needs to go into the garage and clear out all the blinking clutter. It looks like a hoarder lives there. It's an aspect which reflects something about him. In the same way that my car being neglected says something about me. Own it. Be honest. Radical honesty is what's required. Okay, I think I'm going to leave it there, and I'm going to walk the talk, which is what I try to do all the time anyway, but I'm going to get out there for a little walk. I have made myself a healthy soup for lunch. I lost half a stone on holiday, actually, which was good. Usually put half a stone on, but anyway, I lost. So I'm determined to keep that off. I have kept it off. So I'm going to add to that now and use it as a springboard for a new me. But anyway, I will be dipping in and out through next year. Through this year. Oh, interesting what I just said. I don't know. I just don't know. You know, at the end of the day, transformation is transformation. And what we have to do is answer spirit. I am committed to staying here with you and honouring this community, though, that we've built up. But yeah, we have to have the balance. Get the balance right. Let's end with a bit of Depeche Mode, shall we? Yeah, maybe I'll go and have a walk and listen to Depeche Mode. I think I will actually. Get the balance right. Those of you that don't know the song, get the balance right. And also, what was their other song? Everything works in something. Tell me the song. I don't know which is the song I'm tuning into here. But anyway, lots of love. Take great care. And I will see you as soon as I can. For members, I'll be doing a video for you ASAP as well. That's next on my list. Bye-bye for now. Bye.